Splash. That sound still haunts me, even now. The smack of my father's frail body hitting the pool, a sound I never thought I'd hear, let alone because of someone like Karen. He was 72, trembling from Parkinson's, just trying to enjoy the sun, and suddenly he's underwater, arms and legs thrashing, desperate for air. And for a split second, I thought he might never come back up. You ever see someone disappear like that, and feel time just stop? Standing right above him, clipboard in one hand, sunglasses gleaming, was Karen, the queen bee of our little suburban kingdom. She sneered, lips curled, voice dripping with venom, and muttered loud enough for everyone to hear. Maybe he should just stay down there. I swear, you could feel the shock ripple through the crowd. Gasps, someone's phone out, neighbors frozen. But Karen? She just adjusted her shades, looked right through us, like she owned not just the pool, but our entire lives. That was the moment I realized. This wasn't just another one of her HOA power trips. This was a crime, and every second of it was caught on camera. If you've never tangled with a homeowners association, count yourself lucky. People picture these places as peaceful, lawns trimmed, mailboxes in neat little rows, golden retrievers fetching tennis balls in the cul-de-sac. That's the fantasy. The truth? When someone like Karen gets that tiny whiff of authority, it's a nightmare on repeat. She paraded Mayplurist Estates with that damn clipboard like it was a scepter. Neon pantsuits, perfume so strong you'd smell her before you saw her, a voice that could slice through brick walls. And somehow, my family. Yeah, we became her favorite chew toy from day one. Before Parkinson's, my dad was the kind of guy who could fix an engine blindfolded, never needed help with anything. But the disease, it just crept up, little by little. Stole his steadiness. Robbed him of those quiet, capable hands. Still, he walked the dog. Every morning, slow but proud, never asking for pity, never looking for attention. Karen couldn't stand it. She once told him, right in front of the neighbors, that his shaky walking was a public safety hazard. Can you imagine? Guy spends his life fixing half the town's cars, coaching Little League, raising a family, and suddenly he's a liability because his hands tremble. And don't even get me started on the mailbox. She wrote us up for having the wrong shade of blue. She literally carried paint swatches around like a gunslinger. But that was Karen's game. Rules weren't about order. They were about power. Our grass, our fence, my dad's dog walks. Every little thing became a battleground. Most people kept their heads down, avoided eye contact, too scared to be her next victim. But my dad? He never backed down. Always met her with a "Good morning, Karen." So calm and steady it drove her nuts. I guess nothing makes a bully angrier than someone who just won't cower. It built up slow. Petty notices, public shaming at HOA meetings, even trying to fine us for, get this, spilled birdseed on the porch. But the pool? That was Karen's throne room. She ruled that. Concrete deck like it was Buckingham Palace. Dad just wanted to sit there in the sun, Max curled at his feet, pretending things were still normal. But Karen couldn't stand seeing someone she'd labeled less than just enjoying himself. One day, she marched over, heels clicking like a metronome, clipboard waving, and announced that my father needed proper clearance to sit by the pool. My 72-year-old dad needed a permit to breathe near the water. I tried not to lose it. Dad just smiled, as always, and said, "Just enjoying the sun, ma'am." You'd think he'd set her hair on fire. She called him a liability, waved at his trembling hands, shamed him in front of everyone. The other neighbors stared at their feet, desperate not to get involved. But she wasn't satisfied with just words. People like Karen never are. Next came the formal complaint taped to our door in giant red letters. His condition poses a threat to the community. My dad read it, folded it neatly, stuck it in his pocket, didn't say a word. But I saw his shoulders slump just a little more. The next HOA meeting? She turned it into a spectacle. Talked about certain residents making the neighborhood look unkempt, eyes locked right on Dad. Nobody spoke up. Not one. The real storm broke a week later. We went back to the pool. Sun was golden, cicadas humming, everything peaceful for once. Dad had his feet in the water, Max snoozing by his side. Then, click, clack, click. Here comes Karen, neon pink suit, smirk in full force. She started in with her routine. "You're endangering everyone. You're making a spectacle." That word. like my father was some kind of circus act, not a human being. A few people lingered, some half-heartedly filming, but nobody did a thing. Then, she leaned in and hissed, "Maybe you should stay inside where you belong, before something happens." My blood boiled. I asked her straight up, "Are you threatening my father?" She played innocent. But the message was clear. Dad touched my arm, his way of telling me to let it go. I tried, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming. And it did. Sunday afternoon, pool busy, laughter and sunscreen in the air, Dad and I just wanting a little peace. He sat by the water, shoes off, sun on his face, Max by his side. And then, the click of Karen's heels. She marched up, voice slicing through the noise, and without warning, without hesitation, she shoved him. 1 second he's there, the next, splash. His cane clattered to the tiles. He disappeared beneath the surface. Bubbles exploding, arms flailing. For a moment, time froze. Kids screamed. Someone shouted for help. Phones everywhere recording. Karen just stood there, sneering. I dove in without thinking. Heart pounding, eyes burning from chlorine. Wrapped my arm around him, dragged him up, neighbors finally pulling him out. Max barking his head off. Karen just muttered, "He should have stayed home." That was it. Rage took over. I nearly lunged for her, but a neighbor held me back. Don't give her the satisfaction. And he was right. My dad needed me, not my anger. Finally, someone spoke up. This isn't HOA business. This is assault. Others chimed in. Elder abuse. Karen tried to spin it. Said he slipped, but nobody bought it. Phones waved in the air, evidence everywhere. When the cops showed up, Karen tried her old tricks, smiling, lying, insisting she was protecting the community. But the deputy didn't blink. Your word doesn't outweigh video evidence. Step aside. And for the first time, Karen looked scared. Paramedics took Dad to the hospital. Neighbors surrounded us, some apologizing for staying silent, some promising to testify. Karen kept shrieking about conspiracies. But her audience was gone. Her reign was over. The days after felt electric. Videos circulated, reporters showed up, Karen's face plastered everywhere. The HOA board tried to distance themselves. But it was too late. Prosecutors called me personally. We're moving forward with charges. She's facing jail time. Dad smiled when he heard. About time, he whispered. The trial was something else. Karen in traffic cone orange, still playing the victim. Her lawyer called it a witch hunt. Witnesses lined up, videos played over and over. My dad took the stand, voice shaky but true. Karen's mask cracked in front of everyone. In the end, the jury was out barely 2 hours. Guilty. 6 months in jail, fines, and a lifetime ban from any HOA board. The day Karen went to jail, the whole neighborhood seemed to breathe out at once. The silence that followed wasn't fear, it was relief. Our mailbox stayed whatever color we wanted. Neighbors waved. The pool was just a pool. Again, Dad and I went back, sat by the water. He told me, strength isn't in pushing back. It's in refusing to fall when someone shoves. And I realized, dignity, not anger, is what floats. Karen may have tried to shove my father under, but she's the one who drowned. In her own arrogance, her own need for control. And my father, battered and bruised, rose above it, dignity intact. In the end, justice wasn't a gavel or a jail cell. It was a community finally finding its voice, neighbors finally standing up, and a man who taught me that when dignity floats, nothing can keep you down. So let me ask, what would you have done? Ever faced a Karen with too much power and not enough heart? Drop your story in the comments. And if you want to hear more wild HOA tales, subscribe. Because trust me, karma's always waiting for its next dance.